So, are you wanting to homeschool in Colorado, but you're confused about the laws and exactly how to start? Well, my friends, we're going to discuss that right now as I make dinner. My name is Janae Daniels, and I host the School to Homeschool podcast. And so let's get started. So there's 3 ways that you can homeschool in the state of Colorado. Now, the first way is that you submit what's called a notice of intent to homeschool. What that is it's a form that you can either type out, and oftentimes school districts will have them, but it says that it has the year, the child's name, their age, the place of residency, as well as that you're going to homeschool for 172 days for 4-hour average days for a total of 688 hours. And so then you submit that to the school district of choice, not the school, not the Department of Education. You choose any school district you want to, submit that to the school district once a year, and then there's supposed to be a 14-day grace period until you can start homeschooling. And then you can withdraw the kids and then start the grace period for 14 days. And then with that option, on odd grade years starting with 3rd grade, so 3rd grade, 5th grade, 7th grade, 9th grade, 11th grade, you either submit a national standardized test, such as the Iowa Test of Basic Skills, the ITBS test, or you can submit the California Achievement Test on those odd years. You have them take the test and then you submit it. Now, that's one option. The other option that you have to do if you submit a notice of intent is you can, instead of testing, you could hire a professional evaluator, which I've done both options. I prefer working with an evaluator. And what they do is they talk to the children, teach child, ask them what they learned, maybe submit some work, and then they send you a PDF, and then you send that to the school district. Again, but that's only on odd years. So that's the first option, is the notice of intent route. The second option is getting what's called an umbrella school, which acts almost like a private school. So you sign up with you withdraw your kids, you sign up with an umbrella school, and they hold the records and they hold the testing results. And every umbrella school is a little bit different and their rules are a little bit different, but they technically are the record holders, okay? And so they act as a buffer between you and the Department of Education. So an umbrella school is your second option. Again, it acts almost like a private school, but you're still homeschooling. They're not actually schooling like you are. Okay, so your third option is that you are a teacher that's licensed in the state of Colorado, and then all you have to do is withdraw your kids and that's it. You don't have to submit any records, you don't have to submit any testing, that's all. So those are the 3 options in the state of Colorado. Now, you know how like in the public school system, a lot of times like each grade has state standards that they have to follow and they're very specific? Well, in Colorado, in the homeschooling world, you only have to cover the following subjects. Oh dear, this is bad. All right, no fire, we're good. The United States Constitution, reading, writing, speaking, math, history, civics, literature, and science. Now, what in those subjects do we have to teach? That's up to you as a parent. How long do we teach them and how do we teach them? Totally up to you as a parent. You could use a curriculum or you could do a more hands-on approach. The key is if you're worried about like, will my child go to college and what do I do about a diploma and transcripts? Well, a couple things. First of all, in the state of Colorado currently, we as parents, once a teenager has finished what we deem their education, then we can create a diploma for them. And the law is pretty loose on that. But if you're really concerned about, but what about getting into a college or a university? Like let's say my son wants to go to Colorado State University, for example. Well, what I would do is contact the university or universities that he is looking at, and I would ask them, what are your requirements for homeschoolers? Like what do they need to have on their transcript to get into your university? And then you tailor their education to fit the transcript and to fit what the university wants. So it does take a little bit of planning and a little bit of planning ahead, but then they get a more couture education, a more personalized education that fits them, geared towards their interests as well as their end goals of getting in college. But it's actually not that hard at all. Now, the other thing that you're going to want to do is record keeping. No matter which path you choose, keep records. Easiest way to keep a record is called the spiral notebook method. And what you do is you have a spiral notebook. You could either do just one for your whole family, or you could do one per child and do it every year. And you literally, every day, you write the date, and then you do jot down quickly what each child worked on that day, whether it was like they did copy work and they copied a paragraph out of the book for writing. You know, we read 3 chapters of Redwall, the mouse, about the mice. We worked on fractions with cooking. Like, whatever you do, you just jot it down really quick. Or maybe if you're using a curriculum or an online curriculum, they did X lesson in this math program, right? You just jot that down and it counts. Like, if you went to if you went to a museum, you're gonna write down, went to this art museum and looked at the art or whatever. So all of that counts as hours towards your homeschooling, and that can include nights, that can include weekends. And you have to remember, almost everything counts as learning. Like, children are sponges. So if you go skiing as a family, you count all those hours as physical education, right? Because you are doing PE. Or if they're taking tennis lessons or golf lessons, or they're in soccer after, on a soccer team, all of those things can count as homeschooling and can be counted towards physical education. So make sure that you record everything that you do, even if you watch a documentary, include that in the homeschooling, right? Because all of it is part of the learning piece, and we want our kids to have an integrated learning. So those are the things you need to do. Again, 3 options. You could submit a notice of intent to homeschool. You could sign up with under an umbrella school, or if you're a licensed teacher in the state of Colorado, you don't have to do anything. You just withdraw the kids and hit the ground running. And then you do testing on odd years, starting with 3rd grade, or evaluations if you're doing the notice of intent route. And then you make sure that you hit those major subjects. Be sure and like and subscribe if this video is helpful, and you can also check out my podcast also on this channel. Hope that helps. See you on the next video. I'm sneaking a taco really fast before dinner.